Hello and welcome, BitMonger family. Monger here, coming at you from soggy Thailand. In the midst of the rainy season now, but it is quite nice. After it pisses, it will be nice and cool and comfy, and I like it. I think the rainy season gets a bad rap, but that's on a different topic. In today's topic, I'm going to be looking at the destination Hua Hin. And I'll be going over why it might be a place that might be a good fit for you. And I can speak from experience. I actually owned a condo down there long ago and spent about year and a half, 2 years in that area. So, but granted, this was about 20 years ago. I am an OG in Southeast Asia, guys. If you aren't aware, I moved over into Southeast Asia in my early 20s as a diver, and have a long history in this region of the world, and in particular Thailand. So what do I think about Hua Hin? It's a good option, and one reason why I like it is the easy proximity to Bangkok. You can take a minibus or a large bus or drive down if you have a car, and it's, you can leave in the morning and be there by lunch. Perfect. It's not an all-day affair. It's manageable, very manageable. So that's a big perk for me. Another reason why I like it is that the costs are significantly cheaper than they are in places like Phuket or Koh Samui. And also the crowd of people that it attracts, which I think is a big deal as well. I personally don't like to be around a bunch of, lowlifes, Philistines, so I avoid places like Pattaya and certain zones of Bangkok, even though they can be fun. I mean, I still like to go out and party sometimes, but do what makes you happy as long as you're not hurting anybody. But in those terms, the quality of people that you'll find in Hua Hin is nice. It's mostly retiree guys, and if you didn't know, Hua Hin has it really started off with a large expat population of Scandinavians, primarily Swedish. So they're a heavy contingent of the people down there, and I tend to like that. They can be slightly cold and exclusive, but at the same time, they are, courteous, and they're well-mannered, and they pay their maintenance fees if you're living in a building with them or a community with them. They're good about paying, and that's a big deal in Thailand, where you do have areas in which you might, especially in Bangkok, where they may not maintain the place as well. So I like that aspect. But now there are, it's been growing, so there's more, people like from England, Australia, and a smaller segment of the people from the States, but they're all, I had a good time there. I still have friends that live there, so it's not a bad option. Another reason why I think Hua Hin's not a bad option for some people, and this is if you're older and you're having any kind of health problems or you need to be near good hospitals. There are 3 hospitals in Hua Hin in an emergency. They're very close by, and they're fairly good. So that's a big deal for a lot of guys that are having, health problems, or, or on the hypochondriac side maybe. But whatever the issue is, if you like that kind of security, knowing that there's, it gives you a peace of mind, knowing that there's some good hospitals nearby, it's a good spot. Another thing that I like about Hua Hin is that, there is a beach there, and I like the ocean. So you can go walk the beach and swim in the ocean at times. If you're into water sports, there's a pretty cool big kiteboarding association down there. So if you're fit enough and that's something that you like to do, that could be something that you could get involved in with people down there. Food, basically anywhere in Thailand you can get good food. So there's good food to be found in Hua Hin. There's also a fairly nice shopping mall there, Market Village. There might be another one now. It's not something that I pay that much attention to, but I do know that the Market Village is right there. My condo that I used to own used to be right near that. And that's a nice size shopping mall with all kinds of, typical Sizzler, whatever, you name it, those types of restaurants, Western restaurants, along with Thai foods, a Lotus shopping mall there, which is a big supermarket. And in that supermarket, there's a food court that's fantastic. The food court there is, inexpensive, and you can get really nice good Thai dishes there for very affordable prices. So I like that side of Thailand. Also, there's a place that I'll show you guys. Let me show you on a map here. This is some photos of Hua Hin. This one in particular. I used to live towards the end of the beach down here. I rented a place right on the beach. Even though I had my condo, I rented that out to an ex-guy who was an ex-policeman from the States. Nice guy. But I lived right down here on the beach in this really nice old Thai hotel. But it was a little bit older style, but it was right on the beach. And they also had very large, like, one-bedroom apartments. So I was able to get a deal down there. It was fantastic. And now there's also fairly good transportation. They have the what they call a songtao, which is a bus that goes all along the beach back and forth, and it's very cheap to get out to this point. This is on the very southern point. This is called Kautakep, and it's at the very southern tip of the beach. Let's take a look at the Google map. And so if you're going there just for a short time and you want to stay in a nice place, I would personally recommend this place right here. You can see it is an old, like, Victorian style, beautiful setup. I mean, this place is tits. Stylish. I liked it. You also have the Hilton here, and you can see on the map here. Let me close this one. You can see on the map here. This is the main road that you would. This is the main road that you'd come down to get to the beach and this zone. And here you have Soy Bentabat. And just so you guys know, this is the whole little red light district right in this zone. Primarily, this is where you have all the bars. So if you're into, that type of thing, if you want to, indulge in the sexy time with the ladies, this is the place. This is one zone. You can also check out this website here called, what's the name of it? Thailand Red Cat. And this was updated on the 22nd of May, 2025. And, I was married when I was living down there, and I didn't cheat on my wife, so, but, it looks like there's some action down there. Now, granted, the action here, guys, is, if you really want the hotties, this is not the place to go. My general observations of what I did see, even though I wasn't really looking that much. But I did go out. My wife and I at the time, we would go out and eat and go walk by these places so I could see what was happening. And from what I could see generally, it wasn't very good. It was mostly washed up ladies. So not that many hotties. If you're really looking for super hotties, just go to Bangkok. Or, Phuket, Patong, or Pattaya, of course, those, if that's what you're into, that's where you want to go. Anyways, let's get back to the map. So, there's a place, you can see right here is Hua Hin, if you go in this direction and walk down this road, I can't remember if it's on this corner of Selakam Road or if it's on this next corner down here. But there's a fantastic restaurant that sells chicken sauté. And chicken sauté, if you guys don't know, it's the chicken that's bit on sticks that's barbecued, and they serve it with the peanut sauce that is just fucking delicious. It is fantastic. That with a cold beer, you know. They also serve it with a toast. They have 2 different types of toast that you can dip in the peanut sauce, which is very delicious. One is an interesting toast. They serve it with like, I don't know if it's a green onion and pork and egg, and then they somehow, I don't know if they I think they fry it to the bread. It's not that healthy, but wow, it tastes fantastic. And you can mac that down there. I really enjoyed that spot. And then there's the night market. If you zoom out, the night market would be up in this area, right around in this zone. And yeah, next to the bus station, look it up. There's a bus station that you can take. I think it's the minibus station there in Hua Hin. Directly across from the minibus station, there used to be, probably still is there, a really fantastic restaurant that serves breakfasts and stuff. So you can get access to good foods there, which I like. What else was there? So we talked about, living costs. So on the living costs, I recently had a buddy of mine was living there, and he was living in a nice studio apartment, you know, fairly central, and if I remember correctly, he was paying less than $300 a month for it, and it looked great, looked fantastic, very comfortable, you know, nice air conditioning, nice shower, good water pressure. There's a little pool on the property. Hey, you know, good Wi-Fi, and he was happy with it. And like I said, for transportation, you can use the public transportation. You can use Grab. The Songtao is very efficient. It's a pickup truck with seating in the back. That's how you get around usually there. Or you can rent a motorbike, you know. But be careful if you're renting a motorbike, because that seems to be the downfall of many expats that come here. They get in motorbike accidents. So be careful if you're on a bike. But they are convenient, and if you're comfortable riding a bike, you know, do that. Preferably, I like to drive a car, but that's primarily because where I live. But if I was in this area, I might use a bike more. I don't know. I do like having the convenience and safety aspect of driving a car, but you don't need one down there. Plenty of transportation. You don't need a car there, and you can get around fairly easily. Another big thing, and that is the golfing. If you're into golfing, Hua Hin is a fantastic place for golfers. There's quite a few golf courses not that far away, so if that's your stick, you're going to be happy there. Also, you know, there's some nice places. About 20 minutes north of Hua Hin is another nice beach called Cha'am. There's also the beach further, just a bit south of Hua Hin, on the other side of Kautakep, is much nicer in my opinion. You have pine trees and that type of stuff, so you do have some shade. So that's what I would say is nice about Hua Hin. Now, the downsides of Hua Hin, because I can't, you know, not everything's rainbows and unicorns, right? The downside is this. It gets very slow during the weekdays. It's primarily busier during the weekends. During the weekdays, you have all these massive, tall buildings along the beachfront, quite a few. And they're mostly empty. They're completely dark. It's kind of gives a weird, odd feeling to it. You know, these rich Thai people or other foreigners buy these properties and then they don't live in them, and they're empty most of the time. So that's kind of a creepy, kind of weird feel to it. Another thing that I'm not going to dismiss, and that is from my own personal engagement with the locals there, it wasn't that good. I felt like the local people there were not as friendly as other places that I've been to around Thailand, but that's just my own, personal experiences. For some people it might be different, but I've had some other buddies of mine that are longtime expats here in Thailand, express similar things. So that's something that you might want to consider. Another thing is water can be an issue there. I personally didn't have a problem with it when I lived there, but my buddy, who's been living there consistently for a couple decades now, told me that there has been water issues, and there gets droughts, believe it or not, in this area. So the water quality might not be that good. Also, I would imagine they're using a shit ton of water to water all those golf courses, But anyways, that's another story. So yeah, those are the things that I would say that, and also the beach itself, Hua Hin Beach. There's very little shade. Unlike other places in Thailand where you're going to have access to, umbrellas where you can chill and hang out, you don't see that too much down there. Cheap food, as far as like beach food, like where I live, I got down the road, I got a ton of restaurants right on the beach. Sit in an umbrella chair and eat some nice shrimps and drink some beers on the beach, and it cost me, $5-6. You don't have that there. And if you do have it there, it's tiny, and it's probably going to have difficulty to get seating. So that's something that you might want to consider. But yeah, generally speaking, there's a lot more positives than the negatives, but I do believe that there are better places, and that's why I live where I live, which is in Rayong, near Chantaburi. So I'm east, going down the east coast, going towards Cambodia, on the opposite side of the Gulf of Thailand. Anyways, there you have it, guys. That is Hua Hin. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can add. If I forgot something, tell me in the comment section. And like and subscribe, guys. Wish you all doing well. Monger on.